I got you, people. So I guess things are not looking good for world leaders and the country, especially the innocent bystander, which is all the ordinary citizens, law-abiding citizens that work and want to live in tranquility. But we can't do that when we got the officials, the people in the cloud, causing trouble all over the globe. And all this started only because the NATO and its allies wanted to expand and induct more countries into the NATO forces. And the NATO forces' only job is to protect other nations from conflict from other nations, right? The thing is that it was an agreement, supposedly, with NATO, that NATO couldn't expand no further than they already have expanded. And so Ukraine came into place that wanted to join the NATO forces and its allies. Being that it was close to Russian territory, the Russian had advised that Ukraine cannot join NATO as an ally because it's too close to their borders. But since the Ukraine's president was existing, the other president did not like it, and he got in position to invade Ukraine and had invaded Ukraine. So they called that an act of war or whatever. They haven't called it a war yet. They've always been calling it an invasion, that Russia invaded Ukraine. But some people say it was a legitimate invasion to stop Ukraine from joining NATO forces because your enemy is too close to you, right? You have to be aware, what can he do? So the Russians were protecting their sovereignty, their borders from this expansion. So that's how the Ukraine and Russia conflict started. Not only that started, it also started another conflict in Israel with Hamas, but the ones that got the punishment and people getting killed were the Palestinians. They were misplaced, killed, and half of them starved to death because of this conflict with Hamas. The Israelis trying to get Hamas, destroy Hamas, but Hamas keeps deflecting them, and they have no way of stopping Hamas. Then they think that the Iranians are helping the Hamas with supplies. So now the Iran is in conflict with them. Then the Houthis got involved. The Turks got involved. Like the whole region is in conflict because of Israel over leveraging the might that they have and the support they have from the cloud, right? Because the nations, their allies, are supplying them with these weapons. So they're using these weapons to get rid of their problems. This is like they got the whole region in conflict. Not only that, that's a problem now in the Middle East. Africa has problems with the other countries of the NATO forces and the European allies. Africa's involved. Not only that, Africa's involved, it's going to continue. Now, the Japanese got involved. Well, that's a little further. First, also, North Korea is getting involved because the cloud is saying that North Korea is supplying Russia with certain rockets and air defense missiles and Iran is supplying them with drones. Like everybody is getting involved. And now from there, from North Korea, China, they're saying that it's colluding with the Russian president, that they allies and they starting to get closer. That it's gonna cause a conflict with the NATO forces and its allies. And it's from there, the Chinese and the Philippines, they want to get them into conflict, right? But the Philippines and the Chinese hardly never fought a conflict with shooting one another and killing one another or shooting rockets, right? They had their ships crashing into each other, colliding, but they never escalated to that extent, right? They throw water at each other with water cannons. Nobody's getting killed. It's not a severe threat that now that the cloud has put in rockets and missiles in the Philippine coast of China. So China is upset that the cloud has put military bases in the Luzon coast of the Philippines. So now it looks like they dragged the only country that was peaceful, that had no conflict with anyone so far. They put the Philippines involved. You know, the Philippines it's a good country, but it also has its problems. And to drag them into a conflict like what's going on with all these countries with power, you know, they're gonna lose a lot of assets in the country because the country is developing, and now you want to put them involved in this conflict. Not only that, Japan now is also involved because a Russian intelligence plane entered the airspace, and they wanted to comply to leave the airspace, and the Japanese had to mobilize jets and throw flares at them. And these flares are used to deter rockets being fired at them, so these flares will stop the rockets for hitting the plane, right? It's a deter to rockets, you know, stopping them. So that's another thing. Now the Japs are involved also. Half of the country is involved with conflict just because one invasion of a country trying to join the NATO forces. People, I always said it and I always thought about that. One day, somebody up there in the cloud, if he cannot control the world, he's not going to let nobody control the world. If he can't control it, no one else is going to control it. And what he's going to do, create chaos and just decimate, destroy, blow up the whole world, and humanity will be lost forever. Mankind is the worst people that's living on this earth. Man is going to destroy man because of his power, his greed, his selfishness. Can respect another country living their way, make their own rules, live the way they want, trade with whoever they want. Why is it that another country's got to tell another country how to live? You know, handle your own country. Stop getting involved in other people's affairs. Let everybody live in peace. This world is big enough for everybody to enjoy. Why is it that they want to create so much conflict? Why is it they cannot sustain humanity no more? There's no more money. There's not enough food. There's not enough medical supplies. There's not enough of anything, but it's plenty of war and killing. That's what it's plenty about. But anyway, people, you know, speak your mind and tell the cloud that you want peace throughout the world. We don't want these wars anymore. And with that, we let you go and you think about that. Stand your ground.